second spot we have the Last Supper. Okay, so this one I think a lot of you might have expected to be on my list, as it is known from the book The Da Vinci Code by author Dan Brown, and he pointed out an incredible secret that to this day people are still pondering about. Is Mary Magdalene sitting beside Jesus in the Last Supper painting, or is that John the Apostle? And if it is not John the Apostle, then why was he painted so feminine, whereas everyone else is clearly a man in that painting? Some say Da Vinci painted him feminine because other painters before him did. This will continue to be of much speculation, but another secret that has actually been found within this painting was found by Italian computer technician Giovanni Maria Palla, and he claims that inside the painting there are musical notes, and if played from left to right, they create a 40-second hymn that sounds like a requiem.
Number 9. Bill Clinton. We've all heard that clip downloading music growing up. You know, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Like, bro, I'm trying to listen to Christmas music. What is this? Whose voice is this? What did I download? Why is this computer not working anymore? I'm so grounded. Back in 2006, former US President Bill Clinton showed off this beautiful portrait of himself done by the incredible artist John Nelson Shanks. As far as portraits go, this is beautiful, the art is beautiful and all that, but that pose, I mean, I don't know, something's off about it. His stance is like, let me redo it. Like, he just looks uncomfortable, you know? He doesn't look ready yet. Well, that's because the shadow on the left side of the portrait, it's meant to represent Monica Lewinsky. I'm not even lying to you. I knew it. I felt like there was some darkness in here. I'm like, oh, something's off here. There's some shady history around. Pun intended. The artist himself admitted that this was indeed the case. He used the dress shape as symbolism to the scandal while he was creating the artwork. I thought the dark background here was Bill's pants, but well, I was wrong. That's why we're here. We like to educate. Number 8. The Madonna with Saint Giovanni. For this next one, we'll be taking a look at a painting from the 15th century by artist Domenico Ghirlandaio. This painting is currently in the Hall of Hercules in Palazzo Vecchio in Florence. Also, if I'm saying any of these names wrong, you can tell me. It's probably gonna be a lot of them. I'm trying. The painting shows the Virgin Mary, infant Jesus, of course, with a six-pack for some reason. And over her right shoulder, we can see this object floating in the sky. Let's take a closer look at that, shall we? What is that? Is that a drone? A magnetic balloon? A weather balloon? Those weren't around then. What's even more interesting is that a man is looking up at the sky at this object. He's even covering his eyes, shielding the sun to try and get a better look. Man's going blind to try and see what's hovering above him. It's always a good sign as well when your dog is barking at something next to you in the sky. Art historians believe that the object is an angel resembling a cloud, while others believe that it's a clear sign of alien visitors. I'm others. I'm like, oh, E.T., the whole thing, this is starting to make more sense now. What do you guys think? Was this the 15th century version of drawing the sun at the top corner of your painting? Or did this mystery artist just document UFO footage with his own brush? Number 7. Cafe Terrace at Night. Upon first glance, you can tell this is a piece done by the fabulous Vincent van Gogh. The blue tones, the streaks. I did the Van Gogh experience downtown Toronto and it was mesmerizing, honestly. The floor is moving, I was like falling into the walls and everything, it was great. While his 1888 oil painting, Cafe Terrace at Night, looks like a quiet late night summer dream, it's actually pretty dark when you start looking closely. I'm not a Van Gogh expert by any means, but Jared Baxter, he is. Back in 2015, Jared brought forth this idea that Cafe Terrace at Night was really Van Gogh's version of the Last Supper. This figure in the center with long hair and 12 surrounding individuals, one of which is slipping into darkness. It checks out. He also says there are hidden crucifixes in this painting. I knew there was something spiritual about that Van Gogh exhibit. I knew it all around me. I'm like, is that a floating crucifix? Where'd it go? It's gone. Number 6, Medusa. Another one of the most recent paintings on today's list is Medusa by Caravaggio. It was done back in 1597. Crazy that that's a recent painting. That's so long ago in my head. And this photo, I'll admit right off the bat, is a little bit haunting. It's a little gory, it's a little graphic. But where does this idea come from? What compels a person to spend this long on a scary painting? The entire time I'd be like, We all know the story of Medusa, the woman with, snakes for hair. When you look at them, you turn to stone and then you're stuck forever and it's horrible. Well, this is a painting that really captures her essence, her beauty, really just, her complexion is so nice, her snake complexion. The snakes really add to the moment, without taking away. The blood oozing out of her neck also draws the eye. It's a nice Oh, it's a nice accent. This painting was meant to be a depiction of the defeat of Medusa, obviously. The legend goes that Perseus, who is the son of Zeus and Danae, was given a shield by Athena. He took said shield to battle Medusa, and he managed to outsmart her by letting her catch a glimpse of her own reflection in that shield. Bam! You played yourself. Yeah, she turned herself into stone, and then this is when he took his sword out and, you know, you can probably fill the rest in. You've seen Game of Thrones. A happy moment, perhaps? I don't know. Imagine having this in your home. I wouldn't sleep. That's terrifying to look at. Number 5, the Mona Lisa. No way she's on this list. What is she up to? How can the Mona Lisa possibly be on this dark messages list? She's literally just... she's chilling out, she's so calm. Another masterpiece from Da Vinci, coming from the 15th century. There's already been, of course, hundreds of theories surrounding this painting. Like perhaps she could have been pregnant, given her stance with the, you know, the hands doing the thing. And the veil over her shoulders, those were worn often by pregnant women during the Italian Renaissance. But back in 2011, a clue was found in the painting. Yeah, a clue, like we're national treasure all of a sudden. Silvano Vincetti supposedly found letters and numbers painted into her eyes. Teeny tiny microscopic numbers and letters. How fun is that? Yeah, I was at my desk earlier and my forehead was like touching my computer screen. I was like, really? Are you sure? I was looking, couldn't find anything. My eyes aren't that great. The L over her right eye stands for Leonardo, and in the other eye, there's a 72, the numbers 7 and 2. We believe so far this relates to Christianity and Judaism. 7, the creation of the world, and 2, the duality of men and women. Meanwhile, I'm over here drawing that really cool S. I think I nailed that, I'm not gonna lie. Number 4, The Ambassadors. This one got me, I'm not gonna lie, I got the creeps after this. The Ambassadors is a painting from 1533. I've seen this one before, as I'm sure you have at one point or another. Hans Hobbiant Youngers painted this lovely room with, you know, scholars. There's a globe, a mandolin, you know, to pass the time, help inspiration, as we all, that's why we get mandolins. We have one in the corner here at the studio. Chris whips it, often. But at the bottom, we see an anamorphic skull. It makes you want to cock your head around almost. It doesn't seem to fit in properly. Like the angle of the skull is wrong. It looks like whenever I try and use Photoshop, it's just something's off. Experts believe this was done intentionally to remind us that death is around the corner. So when I was looking at this, I was like, why is that doing that? And I'm like, oh, death is around the haunting. Next, number 3, The Old Guitarist. Any fans of Game of Thrones on here? Well, this next one gives off major White Walker vibes. The Old Guitarist is, well, exactly what you think. It's an old man, hunched over, white hair, playing a guitar. This would be creepy regardless, just on its own. But when Pablo Picasso was putting together this masterpiece back in the early 1900s, he had some tricks up his sleeve. At the end of the 1900s, in 1998, researchers used infrared on the painting. Again, National Treasure style for some reason. And this time, it wasn't a hidden message, it was a hidden woman. Yeah, another woman was painted underneath the elderly man. So because this paint is naturally fading now, she's becoming more and more clear to see. That is so deep. That's the most deep thing. Am I into art? Am I enjoying art? Am I researching? This is fun. I like this. Number 2, Netherlandish proverbs. Back in 1559, Peter Bruegel the Elder, great name, created this oil painting, and we're still trying to unravel everything in here. In this painting, I mean, for one, it's massive. There's a lot going on. It's on display currently in the Gemälde Gallery in Berlin. It's got a lot going on, and when you really start to focus, you can see some weird going on in this painting. What is that guy doing? That guy's banging his head off the wall. Walter White's been throwing pizzas on the roof for some reason. That fish ate a bigger fish. This dude fell off an ox onto a donkey. What kind of heist was going on in this town? What is happening? Ah, I see. It's supposed to be horrible. Lovely. Proverbs were a hot topic back in the 1500s. Apparently, over 100 Dutch proverbs and idioms are seen in this painting. He also aimed to illustrate the stupidity of man, and given how much of a show this town looks like, I'd say Peter nailed it. And finally, number 1, the Arnolfini portrait. This one is the most impressive paintings on our list. I am a sucker for reflections. And for this one, we'll be looking at Jan van Eyck's painting from 1434. It's quite old, the oldest on our list. This is an oil painting titled the Arnolfini Portrait. It shows Giovanni da Niccolao Arnolfini, his wife, and a little doggo. In the background, that's where things get mysterious. There's a mirror, a painted mirror. It's been widely believed that Jan is in the painting themselves. We love an artist cameo, nice. I'm actually in that wall too. Believe it or not, you just can't see me yet. It hasn't been long enough. Also, written in Latin above the mirror, there's a message. A Latin message. Let's do it. The message reads, Jan van Eyck was here. 1434. That's got to be the oldest blank was here of all time. Even older than Brooks was here from Shawshank Redemption. That was pretty old. A message like that with the artist hidden in the painting, that gives me goosebumps all around. And I'm not really entirely sure why.
Coming in at number 10, we have the Virgin Mary lip syncing. This is absolutely insane. In 2015, parishioners at the St. Charles Church in Sydney, Australia got a shock when they reported seeing the lips of Virgin Mary move in sync with the Lord's Prayer. For those skeptical, 2 churchgoers actually filmed the incident. The painting hangs above the church altar and is thought to have come from the Middle East. Footage filmed by young Catholic Christian curers was uploaded to YouTube, and I have to say it really does look like the Virgin Mary's mouth is moving. It also looks like Christ's hand moves at one point too. Kristen spoke to the press and said, "I believe it was a miracle and not just lighting, because we all saw it at the same time, and because her lips would start moving and then stop and then start again."
In our number 9 spot, we have the young woman powdering herself. This is a painting done by George Seurat between 1889 to 1890. This looks like an innocent painting of a woman just, putting on her foundation for the day, maybe doing a little 1800s equivalent to contouring and finishing it off with a nice red lip. Anyways, there's a lot more going on with this painting than you may think. Recent x-rays have revealed that the flower in the top corner of the painting was actually once a self-portrait of George. Apparently he covered it up because he was told that it was bizarre. Apparently it's even more notable because the woman in this painting was his mistress. So it would make sense that she would have a portrait of him hanging in her room. Ooh, secrets and lies. I doubt the ugliness of your portrait was the only reason you covered it up, George. Probably because the missus didn't know about your mistress. Naughty. In our number 8 spot, we have Supper at Emos. This is a painting that was made by Caravaggio in 1601. This painting is depicting Jesus with, we can assume to be his disciples, and they are sitting at a table with tons of food and fruit. At first glance, you might not see it, but if you look at the shadow of the fruit basket, you will see that the shadow is in the shape of a fish. People believe that this is a little purposeful Easter egg done by the painter, and that the fish is alluding to the story of Jesus feeding the masses with fish. Honestly, that makes sense, but he could have just put fish on the table. That doesn't need to be a secret in a shadow, but perhaps for fun, I guess I can see the appeal. In our number 7 spot, we have David and Goliath. This is the David and Goliath painting that is in the Sistine Chapel that shows David defeating Goliath the giant. This painting was of course painted by none other than Michelangelo in 1509. This painting is already pretty spectacular, but apparently there's also a little hidden symbol within the painting. The way that David is standing over Goliath, his stance, is perfectly in the shape of the Hebrew letter Gimel. The letter is supposed to represent reward and punishment, which of course works perfectly with what happens in this story. In our number 6 spot, we have the Topsy-Turvy World. This is an oil painting that is also known as the Blue Clock by Peter Bruegel the Elder, done in 1559. This painting is so chaotic. It's hard to know what to focus on because there's so much happening, and apparently it's on purpose. Within this painting are 112 proverbs acted out, which are basically small statements that express truth about human behavior based on common sense or experience. 2 that I could make out and thought were easy to see were swimming against the tide or banging one's head against a brick wall. 110 more to go. Could be here all night. Let me know if you see any in the comment section below. In our number 5 spot, we have Patch of Grass by Van Gogh. The 1887 painting Patch of Grass is one of many paintings, apparently, by Van Gogh, where another work of art has been found hidden behind the painting. In 2008, 2 scientists by the name of Joris Dick and Quan Janssens discovered an X-ray technique that helped them reveal a portrait of a peasant woman buried under the blades of the grass. The woman looks quite sad, so maybe that's why he decided to cover her up. Although apparently Van Gogh was known for reusing his paper due to not having a lot of supplies and money, so they have found a lot of paintings within his paintings over the years. pretty awesome. In our number 4 spot, we have The Old Guitarist. This is a classic Pablo Picasso painting done in the early 1900s. It is known for its haunting vibe due to the way that the old man is hunched over playing his guitar just like this. Just lovely. He also is quite white and ghostly. In 1998, an infrared camera revealed that there is actually another painting layered underneath this painting that features a woman. Apparently, as this painting begins to fade, it has become easier to see the woman's face above the guitar player's neck. Honestly, the woman looks a lot more pleasant than this man. Perhaps that is why he is so ghostly and sad, because he's thinking of her. Perhaps she was always intended to be there. She is a ghost that is within him in the afterlife. Okay, who knows, but that would be pretty cool if true. In our number 3 spot, we have the creation of Adam. This one is more cool than bizarre, I think, but you can decide. This is the beautiful creation of Adam painting done by none other than Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. This is yet another painting where he had a hidden illustration within the painting, and personally, I think it is so cool. In this painting, you see God reaching for Adam to give him life. We all know the story. But if you look at God and what is surrounding him, you'll actually see that it's an anatomical illustration of a human brain, which could show that Michelangelo intended to show that God gave Adam life, but also human knowledge. Whoa, mind blown, it makes sense. In our number 2 spot, we have Madonna with Saint Giovannino. This is a painting made by Domenico Ghirlandaio around 1448-1494. This is a painting that has not actually become quite popular over the years because of its intended purpose. It's become popular because of the flying object that appears to be in the top right of the painting behind Madonna. Some believe it to be the first depiction of a UFO, which could indicate a sighting had occurred in the 15th century and quite possibly by the artist. Also, there weren't planes in this time, and this is certainly not a bird in the sky, as there is no clear indication of wings. So does that mean that it was meant to depict something that wasn't of its time, like a UFO? I think yes. Let us know in the comment section below. In our number 1 spot, we have Head of a Peasant Woman by Van Gogh. I had to put this painting in our number 1 spot as this was only just discovered, and the world is so very excited to have discovered yet another Van Gogh masterpiece. If you don't know Van Gogh, well, he is one of the most popular artists of the 20th century, so just take a moment and do some Googling. Anyways, a hidden prize was recently discovered behind his piece, The Head of a Peasant Woman, by the conservators at the National Gallery of Scotland. After x-raying the piece and not expecting much, they discovered that beyond the cardboard was not the peasant woman, but actually a self-portrait of Van Gogh. He was known to have done self-portraits, but to discover this, it must have been magical. The portrait is behind many layers of glue and cardboard, and suspected to have been done this way to help protect the artwork for an upcoming exhibition in the early 20th century. How fascinating. I can't even imagine what that must have felt like to discover that. I bet you people around the world are now going to start x-raying all of the Van Goghs in the hopes of finding a hidden treasure.
Kicking off the list at number 10, the creation of Adam. We'll start this list off with one of the most famous paintings of sculptor and artist Michelangelo. The creation of Adam. You've seen it at one point or another, or you've seen it referenced at one point or another. It was painted back in 1508. The poster of E.T. was inspired by this painting. With little hands, little phone home. Memes have been on a whole new level thanks to Michelangelo in this piece. But what's the dark background here exactly? Perhaps the plethora of naked folks in the sky, all bunched up together? Not exactly. It was known that back in the 1500s, Michelangelo used to dissect bodies, all in the name of art. Of course, why not? He would create anatomic artwork. That's why his creation of Adam kind of looks like he's crawling out of an organ. To be honest, I never noticed it at first. Now, I can't unsee it. That's definitely the inside of a body. The Sistine Chapel has many dark pieces of art. I may or may not mention another.
Coming in at number 9, we have the Anguished Man. I absolutely cannot stand looking at this picture. I know that art is subjective, but I can't imagine having to look at this painting ever, let alone having it as a focal spot in my home. This painting is called The Anguished Man, and the urban legend goes that it was painted with the artist's own blood mixed with oil shortly before they killed themselves. That's right, painted in blood, then they committed suicide. Great! Once again, why would you ever hang this? The owner, Sean Robinson, was handed down the painting by his grandmother, but claims he doesn't display it because nobody likes it. And I wonder why. On the few times that he has displayed the picture, he and his family have reported strange goings-on such as bangs and voices and strange smells. They even reported that the painting moves of its own accord. Trying to find proof, Sean set up a camera in his spare room and recorded the activity over the evening. This is a piece of the footage that was recorded in June 2011. That's right, there it is. Now, according to Sean, the painting was at an angle and against the wall, and there was no drafts present, so it should not have been able to fall like that. This next one is a little bit of an urban legend, but stories are all over the internet. Coming in at number 8, we have Sonny's suicide painting. So according to urban legend, a teenage Japanese girl called Sonny drew this picture and then scanned it into her computer and uploaded it to the internet. The image reportedly had quite the effect on viewers, who said that they saw sadness in her eyes. They also saw her face change expressions after staring at her. In South Korea, the story garnered a lot of momentum, and people would claim that they stared at her for longer than 5 minutes, her face would twist into a taunting smirk. According to the legend, some people who stared at the picture for longer than those 5 minutes were compelled to commit suicide. Now, it turns out it is all just an urban legend though, and the picture is by an artist called Robert Klang. The girl in the image is a fictional character called Princess Rue. Coming in at number 7, we have the misty painting of Bernardo de Galvez. Look at this majestic fellow. This is powerful historical Spaniard Bernardo de Galvez, who was instrumental in the Spanish military in the late 1700s. The city of Galveston in Texas is named after him, as is the city hotel, Hotel Galvez. In the hotel, there is an oil painting of Bernardo that is reportedly haunted by none other than the chap himself. The painting sits at the end of the downstairs hallway and is quite the feature. Despite being a beautiful old painting, a lot of the guests at the hotel simply don't like it one bit. A lot of people have complained that they feel cold when they're near the painting, and almost all guests of the hotel will tell you that they feel Bernardo's eyes moving to watch you. It seems if you try and take a picture of the painting without asking permission of the late great Bernardo de Galvez, it will come out blurry. However, if you ask nicely, the picture will be clear. Those eyes though, I mean, they're clearly seeing you. Coming in at number 6, we have the painting of Ivan the Terrible and his son Ivan. This 1885 painting by Russian realist artist Ilya Repin has been causing a stir since it was created. The painting shows a mortally wounded Ivan being cradled by his Tsar father, who has wounded him. It is reported in history that he murdered him, although a lot of critics challenge the historical accuracy of that statement and this painting. Nonetheless, it is one of the most famous Russian classics, and it is currently in the Moscow State Technikov Gallery. When the painting was first unveiled, a lot of people claimed to be deeply unsettled by it. Some say they saw something terrible within the picture, other than the already terrible subject matter. In 1913, a mentally ill man slashed the painting with a knife, and it was restored by Repin himself. Once again, the painting was slashed in 2018 by a visitor to the Moscow Museum. Now, he reported to be shouting that he saw terrible images moving within the picture. The man was identified as Igor Podporin, who claimed that he was overwhelmed by something. He later blamed vodka for his outburst. Coming in at number 5, we have Love Letters. Love Letters is a painting of a 4-year-old girl, Samantha Houston, who was painted by Richard King in the style of a pre-existing work by Charles Trevor Garland. Samantha was the daughter of a Texan US senator who died in 1887, aged 4, when she tripped and fell down a staircase as she sadly chased a ball. It seems, as a tribute, the Driscoll Hotel in Texas had a painting of her commissioned. Now, this still stands there today on the 5th floor. It seems that Samantha's spirit may have imprinted on the picture, as guests say that they've heard her giggling when they're nearby. Many guests report feeling like she's trying to tell them something, saying that they've seen her expression change when they look at the picture. Coming into number 4, we have a moving mourning portrait. Now, this is a really scary video uploaded to YouTube in August 2008. Uploaded by Haunting Painting, it is called Scary Ghost Girl Painting Movements Captured, and It's pretty accurate. The painting is of an unknown child in the 18th century and is reportedly a mourning painting, a memento mori. This basically means a painting of a person that's died and it's been commissioned in order to remember them. Now it seems that this mystery girl is haunting her own painting. The narrator of the video says that she sometimes weeps and that occasionally her mouth opens. Now, this moment was captured on camera, right? Terrifying. Now, a lot of people in the comment section are calling this fake, but honestly, I really didn't like looking at this picture while I was scripting this video. Coming into number 3, we have a painting of a headless man. I am not okay with this painting. Why? Well, because at first it looks like a nice little depiction of an old station wagon. That is until you realize there's a freaking headless man hovering around in it like a decapitated creep. The artist Laura P. painted this image in response to a photograph James Kidd had taken of a stagecoach stop in Tombstone, Arizona. Her finished painting was hung at an office in Arizona, but after 3 days, staff demanded it be returned to her. Workers said that their papers would go missing and that the painting seemed to always move. They reported that despite being constantly straightened, the painting would always become crooked on the wall. Laura then took the painting back and hung it at her home. Unfortunately for her, the weird occurrences surrounding the picture followed her. She said that doors would start opening and closing on their own in the room that the painting was in, and a glass even smashed in her hand right in front of the picture. Laura has expressed a desire to have the image destroyed, regretting ever creating the painting. She is worried what will happen if she does have it destroyed though. She doesn't want to anger the spirit. Coming into number 2, we have The Dead Mother by Edvard Munch. Like, Edvard basically just needed a hug. If you recognize his name, that's because he is the artist that was famously behind The Scream. I don't like The Scream either. I mean, it's a very, very good painting and very expressionist, but it freaks me out. However, I have to say this painting freaks me out harder. Munch's work is notoriously filled with pain and anguish, which is more likely than not down to his poor health and his difficult upbringing. His mother died when he was 5, which probably explains this unsettling painting. Now, the painting is called The Dead Mother and was completed in 1900. The picture is already scary to look at, but it gets even creepier when you hear what those who have owned it or worked with it have to say. Firstly, the little girl's eyes are said to incessantly follow people wherever they go, but worse still, it is said that the sheets on the dead mother's bed rustle or move. Some have even sworn that the little girl leaves the painting altogether. Coming into number 1, we have the Hands Resist Him painting. Ugh, this again. I feel like this has come up on a few top 10s before and I do not like it. The Hands Resist Him painting gained notoriety in 2000 when it sold on eBay for just over $1,000. The seller claimed it was haunted, and actually, it probably is. Reportedly, 3 people involved with displaying the painting died, including the art dealer and the art critic who first reviewed the piece. Hands Resist Him is a painting by Bill Stoneman. Now, the name is said to have come from a poem written by his wife about her husband's adoption. In the painting, a boy is seen standing next to a creepy-looking doll whilst disembodied hands paw at a glass-paneled door behind him. The painting was found abandoned in a Californian brewery, which is where it seems the couple who listed it on eBay found it. The wife wrote, "One morning our 4.5-year-old daughter claimed that the children in the picture were fighting and coming into the room during the night. Now, I don't believe in UFOs or Elvis being alive, but my husband was alarmed. To my amusement, he set up a motion-triggered camera for the night." Now, the couple claimed that the motion camera even captured the boy exiting the frame under duress from the doll. It was also thought that the hands in the background move. I don't like this. Now, the painting was bought by gallery owner Kim Smith, who shows it on request. She does so less and less these days because people keep on complaining of falling ill after viewing the picture. Since gaining notoriety for Hands Resist Him, Bill Stoneman has created a prequel and a sequel image, both of which are horrifying.